Saturday, but we're here anyway because we've been talking again.
Yeah.
We've been talking about some very interesting revelation, and we're excited because things are making sense. Things are coming together.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk to you about identity and connection, and you'll be surprised, I think, at the things that we've come up with today.
Yeah, this is some exciting stuff. So I'm real quick on getting this video shared around out there to all my pages.
Some of it is about men and women and the differences and the ways that we need each other. Men and women need each other. And we have been coming down to the core of why men and women need each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
And it involves identity and connection.
Yeah, so without further ado, to delve right into it. So it's been a subject I've been talking about a lot. It's an important subject, in my book and what we have been talking about in a lot of these videos have been knowing yourself and dealing with the internal things inside yourself, intrapersonal skills. That's been something we've really talked about. That's something that, for me, I feel like as an introvert, as an INFP, with all the things that there are about me, it makes sense. That my primary skill, what I'm really good at, is going deep inside myself, knowing myself, and being able to share that with other people, and being able to relate that and know how other people work too. Knowing how people work is basically my business. It's what I'm interested in, and it's what I'm good at. And so that's a lot of what I've talked about. But one thing that I didn't really fully see myself until today, it was kind of fuzzy for me, was that there's a difference between identity and connection. So let's say we're getting back to the basics, and the basics of like relationships. You got to have a good relationship with yourself first. Well, where it gets fuzzy is you think, well, if you have a good relationship with yourself, well, then you have a good connection with yourself, and wouldn't mean if you have a good connection with yourself, doesn't that mean you know yourself? And so you think, well, aren't the two the same thing? But no, the two are not the same thing, because identity and connection are actually different, and what they really are is actually representing the difference between male and female. And the masculine influence, the masculine emphasis is on identity. It is on who we are. And men and the aggression and the need to be who we are, we will carve our name on the mountains. We have to make a name for ourselves. It's always about a name, because what is a name? A name is who you are. That's what's in a name. A name is identity. Identity is huge to men.
You're answering Shakespeare. What's in a name?
Yeah, we're looking for identity. And that's what we're looking for in purpose. That's what we're looking for in the things that we do, is to express identity. And so meaning and purpose and all of that stuff, it all pours into identity.
I see that. I have seen that in men.
But that's not everything. What women are primarily geared towards is connection. What they want in relationships, what they want with others is to be intimate, is to really connect with each other. And that's what they're looking for, both in their marriage, and that's what they're looking for in their friendships. That's what they're looking for in their family, with children. They're looking to connect, and that's the important drive for them. And that's the higher priority.
Yes.
And that priority leads to different choices. That tends to lead to different kinds of life decisions, and the way that women will automatically go a different course than men. And because that's the drive, the driving force, the driving force of their personality is connection, and the driving force of the personality for men is identity. But we need both. Men are good at identity. We're good at knowing ourselves and at knowing others and calling out what a person is, who they are. But what we're bad at is really connecting with that person that we know. Even when that comes to ourselves, men are horrible at connecting with ourselves. That's why we're bad at handling emotions. That's why men are not good with emotions. We're not good nurturers. We're not good with emotions because we are not good at connecting. And so the interesting thing is that dichotomy where, you know, and it's not really a dichotomy. You know, it's a dualism. It's a duality. Both of these things have to be true. There is a limitation on how well you can know a person if you don't connect with them. And there's a limitation of how deeply you can connect with someone if you don't know them.
Right.
So women, if you look at a lot of, you know, where women break down psychologically and have problems, where young ladies have problems, it's when they come to the point where they need to know themselves. And so they have this connection with themselves, but there's no depth. Without identity, there's no depth in connection. And so what they will tend a lot of times to tend toward then is disliking themselves. I wish I was somebody else, and they'll have this self dissatisfaction and dislike and a kind of self-loathing. You know, there's a higher tendency with girls to have self-loathing than with young men, and that's because they connect, but because there's no identity, there's a lack of.
I'm trying to turn off my notifications.
We'll just hit that right there and turn off those notifications.
Oh, okay.
There goes our whole phone.
Sorry. I just want to get rid of notifications.
Upset the apple cart there.
They're so loud. And
Yeah.
they go, sorry. Go ahead.
So that's where girls tend to have more of that problem, is because they connect, but without the identity, without knowing themselves. What is there to connect to? So they make a shallow connection, and then they're unfulfilled in that relationship with themselves. So they look outward for other connections. They look outward for other people, and they try to get established socially and get a boyfriend and have all these friends that are girls, and they don't go deep in the relationships they have at home. They don't go deep in their relationship with themselves because they don't have identity. Now, guys at their younger age, they're pursuing identity, and they love identity, and they're going to go for it. And identity is big and is huge and is important, and that's also why men are very driven to prove themselves. You know, they're very driven to prove that identity and say, this is who I am, this is what I am.
Yeah.
But they do not have the connection and the connectivity, so they don't really get the most accurate picture of who they really should be. And they're always feeling underneath all of the, macho exterior, and I'm going out there and I'm doing things. Underneath, they're alone. And
aren't they needing a man to call out their identity? Just like,
I think to a certain extent, I think it helps.
Father.
I think it helps a lot. I think that we all, we need help in our strengths as much as we do in our weaknesses. But I think more so, the tendency with young men is they have that strong pull to identity. They have that strong pull to know who they are. But because they don't know how to connect, they don't know how to connect with themselves. So they don't know how to deal with their emotional problems. They don't know how to deal with their own personal insufficiencies and the things that they need to be able to love themselves. And you can't love anyone without connecting with them. Love requires